Hello, bookworms and movie buffs. Welcome to From Page to Screen, a literary lens on film, a podcast where we delve into the fascinating world of novels adapted for the big screen. I'm your host, Ma'am Hannah, and I'm thrilled to be joined by some of the brightest minds in English literature who will join me in a meaningful discussion of the novels turned films. In this podcast, we're going to explore the captivating adaptations of novels in contemporary, popular, and emergent literature. We will be dissecting the changes made, analyzing the impact on the story, and discussing the overall effectiveness of these cinematic interpretations, and of course, highlighting how these turn and help critical thinking. Get ready to dive into the world of literary adaptations. Welcome back to From Page to Screen, a literary lens on film, where we delve into the fascinating world of literature brought to life on the silver screen. Today, we are tackling a modern classic that resonated with a generation, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Joining me today are our brilliant BS Ed English majors ready to dissect this poignant story and explore its cinematic adaptation. Can you say hi, introduce yourselves, and tell us about a current book you're reading or a movie you have just watched? Okay, can we start with the first in my right?
Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Hazel Angkal and currently I have read a book named Paper Towns by John Green. I am so fascinated with this book because it talks about the mystery of how Margot and Quentin became friends in childhood days and their high school life as well. It feels so being having a student like them compared to the Philippines, like they full of responsibility here. Aside from having responsible for family and friends, in school also they have also discipline.
Okay, that's John Green, the same author with the book that we are going to tackle in this podcast. Okay, thank you very much. Can we say hi to Hazel, everyone? Say hi, Hazel.
Hi, Hazel.
You know, we have a gentleman here. Hi.
Hello, my name is Christian Asimo, and I would like to say that recently I've just watched The Fault in Our Stars by John Green.
Wow, The Fault in Our Stars,
Yeah.
very timely.
Yeah, it's quite the timing, and I watched The Fault in Our Stars, and I've seen the story goes with Hazel Grace and Augustus Waters, where
Familiar name. We have also Hazel here.
yeah,
Yes,
it's a real
very-
name.
Very coincidental.
Coincidence. And
Yeah,
It's
coincidence.
a story about Hazel and Grace and Augustus Waters met in a sport group because they have cancer.
Yeah,
And
it's a
we
bit of a spoiler, guys.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
spoiler. I guess you say it's a spoiler. And this is a story where their love grows at the same time they challenges themselves because they lost Augustus, sadly, but yet they maintain their relationship to have a good one.
Okay, so that was Christian. Can you say hi to Christian? Hi, Christian. Oh, he is the only gentleman here. Now there's another lady over here. Can you say hi?
Hi, listeners. So my name is Erica Jika Lubayan, and the story I recently watched is the story about ex
Access.
ex Joshua Garcia and Julia Barreto. So this story uh, talks about forgiveness. The story serves as reminder of the pressures that come with fame and realities of growing up in front of the public.
Is that a movie?
Yes.
I just heard of that. I've seen that it's in Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
No?
recently added.
And they are really ex in real life.
Yes.
Yes.
Happens so.
That's a bit awkward, I think. But you talk about forgiveness, might as well they have forgiven each other. And the last person, and most likely the most prepared, I assume.
Sorry.
And then let's say hi to Erica first before we go to the last person.
Hi,
Hi,
Erica.
Erica.
Alright everyone, hi, I am Martha Jane Salanzay's son and well currently I'm watching a series titled The Resident. It is a western movie that talks about how resident doctor being committed and still dedicated despite being tested by different situations in his work. So I am thrilled that I am excited with the outcome of this movie as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we say hi, Martha?
Hi, Martha.
It's like a scripted group of kids being asked to say hi to strangers. Okay, so we have here Hazel, Christian, Erica, and Martha who will be joining us as we will be learning from them about the book turned film, The Fault in Our Stars. And disclaimer, this is, in this podcast, we'll be asking questions that tells actually on how the films, books turned films, um, helps in critical thinking, or how do this book helps develop critical thinking as we are going into literary criticism specifically for this book. Okay, so are you all ready to dive into some, let's say, difficult questions?
I guess we could.
Yes, we
Okay, so I hope that our listeners can also learn from you and your insights with regard to this. So let's go. Okay, now allow me to ask the first question. But my first question has a lot of questions. So are you nervous? Are you nervous?
Kind of.
Kind of. It's natural even if we don't have. Actually, we have a live audience here. Can our live audience say hi? I just said hi and they said hello. Okay, now first question goes to, if you want to answer, if you want to share your answer, anybody can share, of course. The Fault in Our Stars is a compelling book. Christian mentioned earlier that he watched the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
And
recently.
months ago, I read the book. I really believe and agree that it is actually a compelling book. And it's not just a compelling book, but it is a compelling book to develop critical thinking.
Yes.
Yes.
What emotional, let's go back to that critical thinking. What do you think makes the book a compelling book for developing critical thinking skills? Anyone would like to share?
I would like to share.
Oh, Christian, who is very giving a spoiler already earlier.
Yeah,
Yes,
since I
Christian.
spoiled, I want to share. So, The Fault in Our Stars is indeed a compelling book for developing critical thinking skills because you see the characters experiences love, loss, and relationship despite having health conditions. That makes the people question the destiny, what destiny lies ahead for the characters in the story. It develops readers' critical thinking skills by analyzing on what possible outcomes the story leads upon reading the book. So the emotional and philosophical challenges conveyed by the story is that Augustus and Hazel were afraid to grow in love together, and the relationship knowing what fate lies ahead for the both of them losing each other in the end because of unwanted conditions. The adversities Hazel and Augustus faced and ended up in heartbreaking, yet they stand and decided to live life to the fullest while they still can. Although Augustus proved the love and effort for Hazel even before his death by writing the sequel for Hazel raised question about the story that the book that Hazel loved to read over and over, the Imperial Affliction, that is unanswered by the author himself, Peter von Houten himself. So Hazel then realizes the answer to her question after losing Augustus that she should never forget him, and her love for him has never fainted as it remains, and the importance of having true people remember you when you are gone.
Okay, so that was very, let's just say, the answer is as well compelling. Most likely Christian gave like the overview of the entire book. And there was actually an angst inside Hazel Grace when actually she was given an opportunity to go to
Yes.
Amsterdam, was it?
Yeah,
To
Amsterdam.
from the US
Mhm.
to meet the author
Yes.
and was very disappointed because the author, when they met, the author told her that do not make the book like it is, do not act as if the book is actually a real life happening,
Yes.
because it's the decision of the author to end it with an ending that is not like an ending.
Mhm.
And that's what, and in the course of the story, and what had this, just to add something up from what Christian had mentioned earlier, it was only the time when Augustus Waters died
Mhm.
that Hazel Grace was able to fully comprehend
Yes.
and understand
Yeah.
the meaning of why the imperial
Yeah.
affliction was supposed to end like that. Because
Yes.
it's just like how life is.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
make an ending on your own.
Yes.
It's the living that understands
Yeah.
that it was supposed to be like that.
Yes.
So you mentioned about emotional and philosophical challenges and and how it presents to the readers. Okay, you mentioned about that
Yes.
one. And again, if you have watched the book and you have watched the movie, it is most likely impossible for you not to cry.
Yes.
Emotionally,
Right.
and we say philosophically because Hazel Grace is a person who knows that she is dying,
Yes.
and because she knows that she's dying, she tried her best to live a life
Yeah.
that is meant to be lived in a way that you know you'll never have tomorrow.
Yeah. Like
That's why she was like YOLO. But
Mhm.
not YOLO actually in a sense that you only live once. You live every day and you die once.
Yeah.
But Augustus Waters was a different person.
Yeah.
He's like, go ride a plane and be this and that and so on and so forth. Even though he knows that it will affect him so much.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. And that's very stimulating. Now let's proceed to let's talk about, of course, the main characters, Hazel and Augustus. Now, how can, when we watch Hazel and Augustus' character, how can analyzing their character development throughout the novel encourage readers or even viewers, if we watch the movie, to think critically about how people cope up with three things? Because I believe the story, it compels in three things. First is life,
Mm-hmm.
second is illness, and love.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, I hope Martha is not in love. Because it's again like she's willing to answer this question.
yet.
Okay, let us hear your thoughts about this one, Martha.
Okay. Well, analyzing Hazel and Augustus' character development throughout the novel encourages readers to think critically about how people cope up with life, illness, and love is a transformation from the moment that they met each other at the heart of Jesus. It is a
Yes, the
support
heart
group.
of Jesus.
Yes.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
support group.
Yeah, where Hazel is an introvert that mostly focuses upon herself and just reads books and titled An Imperial Affection, mentioned earlier, and over again she likes to does not want to read another one. And when Augustus and Hazel became friends, they both decided to exchange books, and that started Hazel to read another book besides her favorite one. And that begins to open up to each other's interest with learning several things in life while being together. And Hazel and Augustus realize that the illness they have is only a matter of life's challenge. Therefore, they encourage each other not to give up on love that they have, but remain faithful until their last moments together. And there, they both developed improvement of character, loyalty in love, and realizations of their lives' biggest questions and purpose.
Um, Actually, one of the most heartbreaking part of the movie slash book was that when Augustus asked Hazel and his friend, the one who lost his eyesight,
Yes.
to attend in the funeral that he made for his
Yes,
own.
for his own.
It was the most heartbreaking part because
Yeah.
Augustus was well aware. I mean, he was well aware of Hazel's sufferings.
Yes.
However, this is the problem with people. And what makes those who have compassion very, let's just say, commendable.
Mhm.
All alone, because the illness of Hazel Grace was so obvious that she
Yeah.
can't
So
breathe
the
without her
story.
oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hazel Grace cannot see what Augustus is suffering.
Yes.
That's why in the course of the story, it was always Augustus who gives to
Yeah.
Hazel. But it was
Denying
Hazel
himself.
who just appreciate how much she lost in terms of people who has heart for you
Mhm.
when she lost Augustus. Because Augustus was suffering on his own,
Yeah.
Yes.
not evident to Hazel's
Yeah.
eyes,
Yes.
but Hazel was, of course, suffering
Hating
for,
himself.
yes, of course, that was very, and it would also, in terms of analyzing their character development, they started as just people curious about each other's, what makes you be one of the persons who would die at any time, a ticking time bomb. And then, um, they were able to value their lives more as they meet each other and they get hooked with one another. And because they have similarities, they know that they're about to
Yes,
die at any time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that may be a bit odd for a similarity, but it's just the same with people like us. Whenever we find somebody who has the same interest, same
Yeah.
situation, we
Yeah.
became close friends with them
Yes.
right away.
We can relate.
Okay, that is something that is very worth, like, let's say, pondering on. Now, the novel explores deep questions about existence, suffering, and the meaning of life, as how it associates with how people cope with life, illness, and love. Now, my question is, how can readers or viewers engage with these themes to develop their ability to think critically about life's biggest question? Now, before you answer that one, most people wants to watch something comical, funny,
Yes.
over drama, but this was actually one of those that you don't expect that it will break you very hard when you watch it,
Yeah,
especially when
the
you read
feeling.
it.
Yeah.
And the feeling, and I
Feeling,
believe that
yeah.
the characters are very good in presenting their characters. Okay, once again, how can the themes of existence, suffering, and the meaning of life develop or help readers be engaged to develop their ability to think critically about life's biggest questions? Oh, Hazel is Hazel. Hazel wants to answer. Hazel has something
Hazel,
to
where's the big
say.
Hazel?
Okay, sorry, Hazel Grace.
Hazel
There's
and
also
Hazel.
Hazel here. Okay, let's hear from Hazel.
As I read that book, I can relate to what the characters experience when it comes to questioning their existence. Like, I would question myself, really, about what the real life purpose I have in this world. Just like Hazel and Augustus questioning their existence about the themes of existence, suffering, and meaning of life. Life really has a timeline in which it has a designated paths of what fate may leads us into life. Readers can think critically by questioning themselves, like when Hazel thought about why do we suffer when we can end like this in death, but she has a fear of what her family may feel about her death. Whereas, on the other hand, Augustus fears if anyone would even remember him after his death, as he wants to be remembered by not realizing that what matters the most is that important people in life are enough to remember keeping him in memory. I would say that death is inevitable and unpredictable. Therefore, life is short. As long as I live in this world, like just like Hazel Reese and Augustus, I would fulfill my purpose in life. There will be no regrets or wasted opportunities in life. For me, purpose is like a mission that we need to fulfill, and that makes me wonder that if right thing to do in this world.
Okay, that was very good. I mean, the idea of wanting to be remembered is
Yes.
totally difficult, and I think
Oblivion.
most people wanted to be remembered.
Yes.
And that was a struggle of the two of them, how they wanted to be remembered.
Remembered.
May not be by the entire universe, but at least to some people.
Some people.
Yes.
I read this
Is it
one
worth it?
somewhere. I'm not sure if it was in The Fault in Our Stars. The problem is not on
will he still be remembered? But the much painful part is even if you're still alive, you're forgotten.
Oh,
Yo.
Yeah.
Because most people
That
will only
hurts.
remember you when you're no longer there.
Yes.
It's the time they could realize.
It was like a bit painful. Now, how does the book challenge? No, of course there are plenty of stereotypes. Now, it's like a taboo for some communities to talk about illnesses. No, don't talk
Yes.
about it. It's gonna hurt them, this and that. Now, how does the book or John Green as the author challenge the common stereotypes about people with terminal illnesses like those of Hazel Grace and Augustus Water? And what do you think is a compelling reason why it invites, how can it invite readers to mirror themselves or to reflect more critically on how society should as well view these illnesses and disabilities. Now I see Erica is like to
Yes.
answer this question. Yes, Erica, what do you think is the answer?
Okay. The book of John Green challenges common stereotypes about people with terminal illnesses, just like when Hazel was at the airport and a kid wanted to try to use her cannula, but her father told her not to touch it, while Hazel explained that it's okay. Hazel then questioned herself about why people treat someone with cancer like they're useless and unable to do such thing they wanted. Also, when she wants to go to places like in Amsterdam, the doctor prohibits her going to for safety reasons. So she questions why can people encourage them with positivity instead of judging their limits. Another stereotypes in the story was when Peter von Putten, the author of an imperial affliction, called people with cancer or illnesses defect. It was a huge insult and stereotype on that part being called defect. The story also showed that when Isaac, Augustus' friend, became blind, was left by his girlfriend because he was of no use to her any longer. This enabled readers to be aware about how society views illness and disability.
Okay, so you mentioned about when Van Houten mentioned about how illnesses are defects,
Yes.
and Isaac, Gus's friend, was left by his girlfriend. Because prior to that, they keep on flirting and kissing and all. And because he knows that he won't be able to savor that moment. There were actually plenty of stereotypes that were addressed in the book, which was also an eye-opener for the society. Okay, so we'll be right back after we listen to one of the OST of The Fault in Our Stars by Ed Sheeran. Let's savor the moment and listen all of the stars.
It's just another night, and I'm staring at the moon. I saw a shooting star and thought of you. I sang a lullaby by the waterside and knew if you were here, I'd sing to you. You're on the other side as the skyline splits in two, miles away from seeing you. But I can see the stars from America. I wonder, do you see them too? So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these scars will bleed, but both of our hearts believe. All of these stars will guide us home. I can hear your heart on the radio. It beats playing chasing cars, and I thought of us. Back to the time you were lying next to me. I looked across and fell in love. And so I took your hand back through lamplit streets and knew everything led back to you. So can you see the stars over Amsterdam? Hear the song my heart is beating to. So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these skies will bleed, but both of our hearts believe. All of these stars will guide us on and
And we are back to From Page to Screen, a literary lens on film. Here with me again, in case you forgot, we have Hazel, Christian, Erica,
Hello.
and Martha. Now, are you still feeling nervous?
Yeah, we got
Sort of.
it.
But I think we really have plenty of things to talk about. The Fault in Our Stars. Let us continue from where we ended. There was one very, let's just say, unforgettable trait or habit of Augustus Waters, which is when he keeps on holding a cigarette but not lighting it. And it made Hazel Grace in her first few moments of encounter really got pissed off. Okay, the metaphor of Augustus' unlit cigarette plays a key role in the novel. Actually, in the book, I really highlighted this part. Now, how do you think does the unpacking is a metaphor which encourages critical thinking about control, choice, and perhaps power over one's life?
Yes. So you see, I guess this metaphor of unlit cigarette in his mouth draws out positivity meaning towards one's decision in life. Cigarettes have the power to draw a person towards addiction, okay? That can kill because of the harmful substance that can be dangerous to one's health.
And what is funny is that you will really know of when the book was written because it was still a cigarette, not vape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
cigarette.
there was that. Okay, even if it's a vape, please, let's advise our listeners, please be
Especially the young
discreet.
ones.
Yeah, especially the young ones. We don't care if you inhale it, exhale it, but please, those who are around you, please be mindful of them because you're affecting them as well. Okay, so is there anything more that you
Yeah.
would like to add on that?
Just a little bit like, yeah, I guess this was used the metaphor of placing it in his mouth with the choice never to lit the cigarette. It portrays a self-control over something that controls a person by addiction by not giving power to the cigarette.
Yes, exactly. You have
Yeah, the choice.
the choice not to trigger.
Yes.
Okay, that was really good. That was really great. Okay, now Augustus, speaking of Augustus, he's obsessed with the idea of being remembered. Earlier, we talked about being remembered after
Yes.
that. While Hazel, on the other hand, is very, let's just say, the contrast of it because she was more concerned with not hurting others. That's why she kept on just laying low. How can readers or viewers think critically about these opposing views on oblivion and legacy? And what do you think they say about human fears and desires? Because it shows it shows their human nature.
Yes.
Okay, their personal views towards life. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, readers, viewers can think critically about the opposing views about being remembered after death and not hurting others because of the loss by seeing the significant relationship between the impact of how much memory that's created by a man and a woman in love. And it may be two opposing statements of the state of not remembering those who passed away and Hazel's concern of what would be the reaction of people when someone nearly dies. But it is a contrary to what Hazel and Augustus think because they both kept all precious memories of love and laughter together inside their hearts. And human fears leaves a hindrance in reducing our capability of living and acting the way we want it to be because fear destroys the momentum inside us and it also desires can sometimes lead to anxiety of which direction life is leading us into.
Okay, the two words that would two different people, two different illnesses, and Augustus is on the obsession, and Hazel is more on her concern.
Yeah,
It
Yes.
also
concern.
tells us about the like what matters for a man, and what matters for a
A
woman.
woman,
Yes.
yes.
That's why women don't want to hurt,
Yeah, yeah.
and men just wanted to be remembered. Anyway, no prejudice on that. Okay, on the other hand, how can readers or viewers critically analyze the patriarchal family? This one thing that was very, if without the help and support of the family and friends and the support system, I think that would totally be a chaos.
Yes.
Now, how can readers or viewers critically analyze the portrayal of their families, their friends, and support systems? And what does the story implies or suggest about the way that these relationships shape individuals in times of hardship, especially when, for example, Hazel Grace is running out of breath when she has her attacks.
Yes.
And when the time when Augustus felt that his condition is getting worse. Okay, and of course, the Hazel in this podcast would like to answer the question. Would you like to answer, Hazel? Okay, take it on. Bring it on.
Well, it helps readers understand the role of having connection with people, for we humans are social beings and need to be socially acquainted. Just like Hazel Grace, she has a cancer
Yeah,
and mostly
cancer.
spends her time as an introvert, like reading and listening book or staying in the home.
Yeah, because she mentioned she read Imperial Affliction over and
Yes.
over again, and still she feels very excited about reading it.
Yes, even though she
Yeah.
reads it during it. Well, there isn't any form of character development which reflects on reality that people need to be positive inside and outside. And this expectation was met when Augustus befriend her every need when she gives her the feeling to live her life and try to survive. Then she was to send support to the support group and met her friends like Augustus and Isaac. But for first and foremost, her mother, who was who was convinced Hazel Grace to go to support group in order to have friends. So they're having family connections here. Wherever Hazel is with her friends, she forgets life struggles and pain she carries, for they all stay on the bright side, like coping up with the humor and gathering as a group of friends, like gamings or reading books. These relationships shape individuals in times of hardship as it gives hope, knowing that you are not alone in life, especially if you are having a cancer or having an illness, and having people who love and care for you, creating that feeling for a fighting spirit beneath in your inner self.
Okay, so as you mentioned about her family, especially her mother, there was one time when Hazel's family thought that she was really gonna die, and then
Yes.
when she wasn't aware that Augustus Waters visited her, that she learned that her parents were attending school on how to be prepared when she's gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yes, I
and
remember.
she was like, it's like the implication is that sometimes when we are the person who is having the situation and illness and all, we only think of how it hurt us. but it paints more of the people who are there around us.
Yes.
Because when you're gone, you're gone. But the
Yes.
people who remains, or who is there, who is alive, needs to keep on going, but no longer with you.
Yeah.
So they
It's a
just
sad part.
live with an idea that you were once part of their lives.
Mhm.
That is why Hazel Grace keeps on being concerned on not hurting others, but then eventually when you die, you will really hurt people because you're gone. But it's not something that you wanted. So it's
Yes.
like Hazel
Yeah.
Grace was so
It's unrealistic.
engrossed with that idea.
Yes.
Now, aside from that, mention about Augustus dying, or everybody seemed to die, or seems dying in the movie or the book. The book deals with grief of losing loved ones. Now, how can discussing the characters' approaches to loss foster critical thinking about the different ways people process grief,
Mhm.
not just in the movie or in the book, but in real life?
Everything.
Yeah, Erica would like to say something. Yeah.
Discussing the character approaches in All in Our Stars made up the connection of our emotion toward someone we love and how important we would cherish their presence to spend as much time with them, knowing there will only be a little time to be together left. We process grief through positivity by making use of the time we have to spend it with our loved ones, no matter what life draws in, because there could be no more other chance and time that we can express our love, feelings, moments, and quality time while they are still alive. It makes us question what ifs and possible expectation in the end. Living a parallel view based on the character in the Fault in Our Stars have experience and their ways and reaction toward the ending scenario.
Okay, so even we all have our own ways of coping up, but then just like the pain of losing a loved one,
Mhm.
the loved one might be gone. It might be a long time, but the pain is still the same.
Yes.
That's why
It's inside us.
it's one of the quotes that made an impact for me. Pain demands to be felt.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Nah, you just-
that's
Yeah, so just don't. I don't want to feel pain, but need to.
Yes.
And my last question, I know that I am keeping your time for so long. The Fault in Our Stars often elicits strong emotional reactions, especially when the time that when it was not actually not the book that made it something like wow big, but it was actually the movie. How can the viewers or those who are reading it, the readers, use the strong emotional responses to reflect critically on their own lives and the meaning they derive from the story?
Well, readers use these emotional responses to reflect their own lives adversities through reading the story, relating the harsh and painful experiences, such as the struggle of having a human condition that is a hindrance to living a proper life. And somehow it can encourage their motivation to live a life no matter what they could be facing, viewing the fact that the story of staying positive, even if the answer is pretty obvious. We are alive, therefore we must live as long as we can in life. And life has a meaning and a purpose. It gives us the driving force to keep moving forward, even if life is a wrecking ball. As it flashes to our eyes from what we read, if people like Hazel Grace and Augustus keep their relationship and love, even in their struggle with cancer together, then we must preserve our life and survive, for God gave us life to live in this world, being proud, being a part of God's creation. And yes.
And that was so moving. Okay, now there you have it, folks. A deep dive into The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. We explored this literary merit, focusing on critical thinking and how it translated to the big screen. And the story of Augustus and Hazel is an inspiration not only for those who are suffering from terminal illnesses, but those who are still looking for the meaning of life, for those who have lost meaning in their life, or are still looking for their purpose. We only have one life to live. We don't know when our days are gonna end, but as long as we live our lives full of positivity, optimism, and perspective that the life we should live is a life worth remembering. Thank you very much, Hazel, Christian, Erica, and Martha. Can we give them a round of applause? Woo! Thank you for sharing your interesting perspectives. It is always fascinating to see how you different individuals connect with the same story, whether in it's written or cinematic form. Remember, from page to screen, a literary lens on film is all about sparking conversation and appreciation for the power of storytelling. So, what are your thoughts about The Fault in Our Stars? Share your insights and join the discussion on their Facebook page and YouTube. The Linguophiles Organization. If you like this video, please give us a love. Please give us loves by sharing this video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and keep exploring the stories that move you. From page to screen, a literary lens on film.